The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 24th day of September 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Wells Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. How you doing, good brother?
I'm good. Happy to be back. How you mean?
Yeah, I mean, since the last time you were here, I think I'm a year older, huh?
Yeah, I actually saw you in Bermuda once or twice.
Yeah.
Going.
Time flies when you're having fun, I guess, right?
I suppose.
Yeah. You know, I must say, I will never understand folks. I appreciate you. I'll never understand how people like summer. I just don't like. I said something a couple of weeks ago, and somebody put me on the carpet. I said on the show, I said, "Man, I ain't coming to your house if you ain't got the AC on, right?" So somebody in the comments said, "Ain't you the same guy that don't turn your heat on when people are visiting you?" I was like, "Yeah, that is hypocritical, ain't it?" Man, the heat bills are through the roof. Now I know you always gonna say, "Well, so is AC." All right, so let's come to a truce. I will give you an additional blanket if you come to my house in the winter to keep warm. What you gonna do to keep me cool without the AC?
One of them spray fans.
Man, I'm still gonna sweat. Hey, look,
additional blanket is still not gonna do nothing for the heat.
I was like, look at somebody calling me out of my hypocrisy, boy. Nah, seriously, I don't believe in donating funds to the utilities companies, man. So I'm gonna fix my hypocrisy for you all. I'm gonna find a way to stay cool in your houses during the summer. All right, deal. And stop calling me out. Let me have mine. All right, you all don't have to call me out anyway. David Michael Wilson says another blast morning TDH fam and crew. Yes, and greetings to you, David. Suzanne Ingham says awesome Tuesday, Jamel, Larry, Maya. Welcome back, Larry. She says that is a good one. The spray fan. I see everybody using it. Do those really work though? Do they really work?
I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I see people with them like cut, man.
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan. Okay.
That's leading into something.
I see you. I pun intended, not a fan. I see what you did there. All right. See, Derek Hendrickson said he'll have a cooling blanket for me. Cooling blanket? That don't even make sense. I see what you're doing. See? Anyway, you all ain't invited to my place during the winter anyway. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Christy and Lee of the Bermuda Cancer and Health Center coming on, discuss some of their upcoming events. And don't forget, today is Daily Play, folks. It's a remember when, so we'll see if Larry can get this one. It's Bermuda Trivia today. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump into today's discussion, folks. There was an article, and sincerest apologies, and I should say this publicly, actually. If ever you're looking to come on the Daily Hour, please don't reach out to me. There's an email that says engage@thedailyhour.com, and that will go to the appropriate person who will then arrange for you to come on. So sincerest apologies to those folks who've reached out on LinkedIn or whatever platform. Because of I'm mentally, I cannot deal with the overwhelming amount of social media like platforms I'm on, and I don't tend to read all the messages. So if you've ever sent something, and I know you have, I read it like weeks or months later. That is why. So if you're ever interested. That said, apologies to the story I'm about to read. Mr. Toledo Berry did reach out, and we'd love to have him sometime. But again, there are things you go through, and when you send those emails, please don't address Jamal. You can address Simone. All right. Um, so there was an article in the Royal Gazette yesterday, and basically said warning to parents about gang grooming of children. And props to Toledo Berry, who has a background in law enforcement. But he part of this article says community outreach groups joined forces with a Hamilton church to educate parents on how to prevent their children from being lured into gang activity. Raleigh, Bermuda, or is it Riley? Riley or Raleigh, Bermuda? What is it, Brett?
Raleigh.
Riley? Okay. I'm sorry. Didn't you go? You went to school in Riley?
I'm just going to Raleigh.
Oh, Riley. Okay. Look, sorry, I got off track. My attention span. All right. It says a youth charity partnered with Youth Education Safety, or YES, to hold a discussion about gang grooming prevention. Toledo Berry, the founder of YES, said the forum was the first of its kind and hailed it a success. He says, I'm a citizen of this country and I want to share the research and try to just educate people as much as I can. The idea is that if you know what to look for, then you will probably know the pitfalls of antisocial behavior better. Now, one of the things that really concerned me is that he told the crowd that gang members targeted children as young as 8 by manipulating and later exploiting them. He said that children were often used to hide or distribute criminal goods, but as they got older, could be recruited for theft, vandalism, drug production, or violent offenses. Now, I'm going to stop there, right? Question of the morning is, what can we do, we, the community, do to steer young people away from gang-like culture in Bermuda? But before we get there, because Bermuda, we had a challenge in Bermuda for many years, Larry, and I know you would probably remember, where there was denial, not just by our politicians, but by the greater community, that we even had gangs, because I think people associated gang-like and antisocial behavior with what they saw on television, not understanding that, no, this is actually a process into what you might see on television. So the first question, just a yes or no, do you believe that Bermuda has a gang problem? Yes or no? Just a yes or no. Do you believe that Bermuda has a gang problem? Just a yes or no, audience. Larry, I know you have a lot to say on this.
Well, to answer the immediate question and back up a bit, I was one of those people like, Bermuda ain't got no gangs, man. We're too small. Like the US, we ain't got no gun. I meant with that. And that happened. I think as time evolved, I saw one time at a football match, I saw it was almost like a meeting of some sort. And I was like, this is more organized than I think. And I had to eventually come to the reality that, yes, we do have a gang problem in Bermuda. I think it's different because a smaller community, we know each other. It's somebody's cousins, god brother, uncle, son, daughter, niece. Because sometimes we just limit it to the males, but it's also females involved. And I think that's how we can kind of not really look at the reality of the situation, but the reality is yes, we do have a gang problem.
Okay. Larry says yes. Audience, what do you believe? Yes or no? Do you believe that Bermuda has a gang problem? Suzanne Ingham says yes. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says yes. Nicole Hassel says yes. David Michael Wilson says yes. Renee Simmons says yes. Karen Simmons says yes. It's interesting because I feel like I would have wanted to do this. Shawnette Bell says yes. 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I would have been there. I would have said no.
No, a lot of people would have said no. And I remember, working at the radio station, people just in denial, and I'm not saying denial to be disrespectful. Let me be clear. I think it was more like protecting oh, Bermuda, like, no, this, we don't have this. It's just few. Now, you said something, Larry, just now. At a football game, you realized how organized it was. It's funny because I was at a football game in St. David's, and I remember someone who's no longer with us, who was murdered due to gun violence. I remember them saying, all these young boys around here, make the run around the corner, sell a little. And I just remember, and I'm just like, when you said that, it definitely was organized.
It was organized. It was a structure. It was loyalty. It was penalties if you go against certain things. It's
Mhm.
all the makings of what would be considered a gang. So, I think once we got across, we never saw that before. Oh, where you're from? I'm from this place, that place. I'm
Mhm.
from up there. You know what I mean? I think that was the link.
Mhm.
And now it's kind of saying that, okay, well, I was going across from just where you're
Mhm.
from. And some individuals are involved in gang-like activity or gang activity.
Yeah,
Let's be clear though, just because you're from a certain area doesn't
doesn't mean.
mean that you're there, that you're from that gang or
Yeah,
whatnot.
correct. Correct. Now, that said, I think we've established that Bermuda has gangs, right? I think based on the question, people believe Bermuda has a gang problem. The question now is based on what Toledo Berry from Yes has said, and for those of you just tuning in, we're speaking about youth education safety, or Yes, which held a discussion about gang grooming prevention. The organization was founded by Toledo Berry, who has a uh, police background. He comes from a police background and a law enforcement background, I should say. And he spoke about children as young as 8 being manipulated and later exploiting them. He said that children being used to distribute goods and recruited for theft and vandalism and drug production and violent offenses. This should concern all of us. So the question of the morning is, what can we do as a community? Well, like, what can we do to steer young people away from gang-like culture? Like, what is there something that you see that you say, you know what? If I do this, is there an opportunity you have? If you may have a big yard, right? And you say, you know what? Let me hire this young person to come and do something in my yard. Is it you go to, I know families in I was close with in the US had a young, and I'll tell this story. So, Larry, you said it to me for years that in the US, football, or soccer as they call it, is seen as a upper middle class sport, right? The soccer mom phenomenon. And it was a young boy who was from a family. I believe his mother was still on the continent of Africa, and he lived with his father. His father was never home, literally worked around the clock. But a family I knew, um, the boy went to school with their son, and the father would take the young boy to football practice and to the games, and he was good. Like, I mean, heads and shoulders above the others. He was very, very good. But he didn't have family support. And if he never went to play football, he would have been home alone a lot of the time. So that was a family stepping in saying, you know what? Let me do something that I can. Other opportunities like that in our community where we can help. Now, it's not an obligation. Let me be clear. This is not on you that you have to do it. But I'm just trying to figure out what can we do to steer young people away from gang-like culture in Bermuda as a community.
Definitely a multifaceted, or the issue is just so complex, right?
Mhm.
Um, I look at the time that I was in these schools, and I worked mostly in middle school, and
Mhm.
that would be when a lot of the grooming would take place. And as I reflect, it was a few instances where I could definitely see where I saw grooming take place. I will say that most of the time, those individuals came from homes that had challenges, whether it be parental absence or just not present parents. And while we can say the community, how can the community do this? At the end of the day, those children have to go home. And for the most part, if the home environment is not supporting that child in the right way, the likelihood for them to end up in antisocial behavior is higher. and I'm only going off of what I saw in my 10 years in education and also working in the summer day camps and being a coach. And I think we as a community struggle now because other things pile on, right? We have the economic factor. Taking one extra child all the time impacts. Can you do that? You know what I mean? Or is the community even does the community have adults that's present more now? You have more adults working. It's just different challenges now than I think from when we was coming up, Jamal. And you know, we gotta try something.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was talking to someone just recently about Bermuda, how it's evolved over the years. And audience, let me know if you agree with this, because this is just my thought process based on what I've observed growing up in Bermuda. But it seems like when IB came to Bermuda, you had tourism and then you had IB, right? And you may have had some people who worked in the tourism sector. Let's just use this example: someone who worked front desk for a hotel, maybe making 40,000 a year. And then an IB company comes along and they're looking for an executive assistant, and they take that front desk person that the CEO met when he came to Bermuda, thought was very pleasant, saying, "Hey, look, I have this new company. I'm looking for an executive assistant." You take that person making $40,000 a year, you give them this position as your executive assistant, making 100,000, right? So let's say that happens, right? Now that happens and it sounds all great. But now the economy responds, because that keeps happening. And the economy responds saying, you know what? These people can afford to pay this now. So the rents go up, mortgages go up, gross things start to go up because people are making more money. But something happened, Larry. Not everyone was going to get those opportunities. So the people who didn't get those opportunities then had to go work a second, or in some unfortunate cases, a third job, just to keep up and be able to support their family. No, this isn't to say they're bad parents for not being there for their children. It means that they felt they needed to go and work, which then leaves, well, who was raising their children? Who is there helping them with the homework? Right? And again, that may be an extreme scenario, but you all rolling with me? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would even
situations are because people are just being irresponsible parents, right? Some is like they think they're doing the responsible thing by going out there and working to support. And unfortunately, it takes more money. Children need attention, they need assistance, they need grooming by their parents.
yes. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
And some is on what you're saying, Jamal, real quick, and others are they're just not present. They're there, but they're not present, and that is a huge problem. I think if some people, if you give them food, shelter, that's enough. No, are you present? Are you involved? Are you showing a general interest? And parents that do that, usually their children stay away from those activities. Usually, still can happen.
Yeah. Interesting conversation. Let's go to the audience. Again, audience, what can we do to steer young people away from gang-like culture in Bermuda? David Michael Wilson, he said, it starts at home. We have to train our young people in the tenets of what is good and wholesome, e.g. sharing with neighbors, caring for the elderly, community building, etc. Yeah, I think that's along the lines of what you said. Suzanne Ingham says, well stated, Larry. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Kia Verne BDA says, not sure if the idea is that not sure that if the idea is there, but creating an organization giving unemployed young adults and adults work where they can use their skills in a bettering system, getting goods, housing, food, and medical. Here's the issue with this, though. Not issue as if it's a bad thing, just trying to make it realistic. I don't think, and I might have said this yesterday, I don't think employment's as big an issue. Think about the example I just gave. The reason someone has to go and work 2 or 3 jobs is because of underemployment. Just giving people jobs and they're still not going to be able to support themselves, to me, isn't addressing the problem.
And to piggyback on that, I don't think it will prevent grooming from happening.
Correct. And so I want us to go a bit deeper, because again, I appreciate that perspective, Kievan ABDA, but I don't necessarily think that it's addressing the root. Shamari Talbot or it says that ain't extreme. It's reality, Jamal. Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I I want to be denial about that reality. I know that sounds silly, but I want to be in denial about that. Let me be very clear. My mother worked multiple jobs my entire life, right? But whether it was my uncle, one who was a coach and present, whether it was working with my father on breaks or my great grandfather, like there was so many people. And then my aunt was literally my mom's right hand in that respect. So I always had that. You know, I mean, it's I don't think I came from a perfect situation at all. You know, it was far from that, especially with the behavioral issues I had. But I had a family that invested in me. You know, again, we're in a space where I think now Black people are becoming more comfortable with therapy. I was in therapy from shooks so young, like it was not something that ever shamed me. I thought it was normal. Me and Mike, one of my closest friends growing up, like we had to because we had behavioral challenges. Like even that, if you notice something's off with your child, have the courage to get them help.
Yeah. Like one more thing before we I know it's getting time, Jamal. It's interesting because I referenced that article. I read the article that you referenced rather, and one of the comments really made me think, and I've been thinking it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What can the community can do? I think the community has to shift and stop entertaining the attractiveness of this activity.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the individuals that's involved, they walk around and they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the social settings and everybody hails them up, yes, da da da. And it's used to be, we're so close. We went to school with them, we played with them when we were small. But these are individuals that are ruining our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's still a level of admiration that the community has for a large part of these people. Some of them are charismatic and have likable personalities, but the reality is that's what they're doing. And I think the community in Bermuda does not wish to address that yet. And the community, that's something I think the community can do because that will help to prevent the grooming.
Yeah.
Because it looks attractive to the young people.
And that's the thing. How does the selling point for that life look more attractive than the lives that they can create taking another route? And that's what we need to figure out from a community perspective. But I think it all comes back to the home. Real quickly, go through these comments. We bring Maya in, and then we've got a great guest coming up, Christine Lee of the Bermuda Cancer and Health. Real quickly, Kia BDA says, for the work they do, so they're busy work and they can improve and keep up their craft and have their basic needs met to survive, which will reduce some issues. I do think having them working, definitely, I agree with that, Kia Renee BDA. I think in the same breath, though, we have to make sure that they're being compensated enough to survive, because if they're working and not being compensated enough to survive, where's that other money going to come from? That's what I think that the loophole is, and make sure that they don't have to work multiple jobs where they're not away from their families. Suzanne Ingham says, exactly, Jamal, our children must be groomed by their parents. Indeed. And Nika DeShield says, we had villages, and Shikarena says, 30 years ago, one of the arguments against building a super high school, the mega high schools, which was the Berkeley Institute and Cedar Bridge Academy, was the fear of the formation of gangs. Yes, Larry, you were 100 on this. Suzanne Ingham says, Charles H. Jeffers II says, I think what Kieran ABDA is saying is that we need to keep our young people involved in positive activities, e.g. sports, clubs, and jobs. Absolutely, absolutely. Larry, you might not like this, but Premier Marshall, you all don't understand his relationship with politics. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for Daily on News Break. Don't go anywhere. We've got Christine Lee coming up from Bermuda Cancer and Health Center after this news break. Stick with us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
I'm all right. Good to see you, Marshall.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You guys haven't seen each other in a while or something?
I've first time been on all month, Jamal.
Yeah. I mean, I never got a hey, nice to see you, Jamal. haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, we don't have that info. You just walking, bro, or something like that. We don't.
Okay. Cool. Anyway, Maya, did you want to add anything to this morning's discussion?
other than it's an unfortunate situation that we're having this discussion, and it's dangerous that all the news that I report how many increases in like gun violences and just like people who have been shot just in the last year have gone up and up and up. I have a story about that today about firearms. But yeah, because I recall doing a story similar to this. And I think I brought it up on the show before on Media Maya. This was probably 2019, maybe even 2020, 2019. And I asked, like, why do we have gangs in Bermuda on my page? And there was that was such a long story. There was so much feedback from like people in my generation as to why it's happening and like how do we stop it and like what is the point. And a lot of people just feel like, yo, a lot of these are disconnected, idle minds, nothing to do. I was looking at it while you guys were discussing, but yeah, a lot of that feeling like they can't get a job or whatever, or social media, or because it's like something that girls apparently want is the guy who's a gangster. Like that was some people's responses as well. And I was just like looking through like, man, have we changed? It's now 2024. Like, is this the same reasons? Like, what has actually helped it get better? Because it seems to have gotten now to a point where it's worse in terms of firearms. We can't really say what numbers there are, but there was still another person that commented saying there's a lot more Black men who are not in gangs. And I'm like, I agree to that. But also look at if it's a small amount, look at what's happening on the island.
Yeah. Concern. What you got for us today?
Well, good morning, everyone. This is your daily hour news break brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. So starting out your news this morning, there was a collision. A man is in the hospital right now after his motorcycle collided with a tractor. Here's the image here. It happened around 9 a.m. on Monday, so yesterday, when police responded to a report of a two-vehicle collision at the junction of Middle Road and South Road in Southampton. Early information indicates that a trailer truck driven in the eastbound lane of Middle Road turned onto South Road at the same time as a motorcycle rider behind the tractor trail truck along Middle Road also turned on South Road in the vicinity of Barnes Corner. The male motorcyclist was hurt and transported to the hospital for treatment of potentially serious injuries. And again, they're asking if anyone witnesses collision, please call 211.
I wish the person a speedy recovery, but again, I've said this on the show. Every time there's a report of a collision, again, our minds usually go, well, at least, the person's survived and so on, but the lifelong injuries. So I just, my message to Bermudians on the roads is drive as defensive as you can. That's the best way. And to drive defensive, drive safe, drive slower. But I mean, it can help prevent.
Indeed. I'll never forget the story I did where I interviewed the doctor who works at Massachusetts General, and we talked about like serious brain injuries and what happens. Like, okay, you might not die, but these effects are going to be with you for the rest of your life. And people often always think it's never going to be them when they're on the roads. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Well, over the last 12 months, a total of 12 firearms and a quantity of ammunition has been seized by the Bermuda Police Service. So forensic examinations on these firearms have confirmed their use in crimes that are currently under investigation, and ballistic tests on a number of these firearms have linked their use to multiple incidents. Ongoing investigations have resulted in the arrest of a number of suspects, as you would know, on the island, as I report. Now, the seizure of these firearms has at the very least prevented the commission of serious acts of criminality and prevented possible serious injuries, is what the police are saying, and also prevented as you would know, more potential loss of life on the island. Assistant Commissioner Mr. Antoine Daniels also went on to thank the community for speaking up and saying things when they need to be said, so that they could find these ammunition and find these firearms and raid these places that need to be raided in residents just to get these guns off the streets.
Yeah, good work to the police, and let's keep getting some more.
Now, if you look, everyone here knows a senior in their life. And right now, seniors are taking probably the hardest blunt right now when it comes to scammers. Scams are so prevalent across the globe, but in Bermuda right now, they have quite increased as well. So 3 senior citizens have been defrauded approximately $685,000 by online phone scams here in Bermuda. So the story continues on saying that in 3 recently reported incidents, 1 local senior citizen was apparently contacted through Facebook, while 2 other local senior citizens are understood to have received random phone calls. Combined, the 3 senior citizens involved, again, defrauded $685,000. That's a huge amount. Now, police say it is believed that the senior citizens were contacted via social media, received a message that appeared to come from someone known to them, containing specific instructions: purchase Apple gift cards, photograph the back with the betterment code visible, and send the pictures to an email address provided in the message. Now, the two senior citizens that received unsolicited phone calls were led to believe the caller was a local bank employee contacting them because their account had been compromised. In one instance, it was reported that the senior citizen was persuaded to give the caller their bank information. In the other, it was reported that the senior citizen was persuaded to allow the caller remote access to their computer. All of these scenarios are tactics regularly used to scammers to defraud unsuspecting individuals. Police are trying to remind the public to let your family know, like, to avoid social media messages and don't install any updated software and, answer unknown callers. And just if you have anything to do with your bank, sorry, excuse me, my best instance is to go to them in person, hang up the call, and call your bank immediately and ask.
Right there. Hang up. Oh.
Hang up and call.
As a person who got scammed a couple of times, there's something that could happen to anybody.
I was close to someone too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this much. Some of it's so believable, and I used to think, like, how can people get scammed? Don't make any decisions in haste. That's the best I can say.
Mm-hmm. Story here, I actually met a senior citizen out here in Toronto, and she was scammed by trying to help someone who she thought needed money for a taxi. And then it was like a very young boy. She said he must have been 13. And he was like, "I'm sorry, miss, this cab driver is not taking mine. It's not working. Can you help me?" So she handed him her card to help. And then he gave back a card, but it was not her card. And she didn't realize it for like an hour later when she went to the bank or went to buy something. It's like, why isn't my card working? Luckily, she was able to get stuff resolved, but
that's crazy.
That's scary. It is. I was like, please don't ever do that again. Don't trust me with your card or your information. But in other news, the minimum hourly wage is set to increase every 2 years, apparently. But let's listen to what the minister had to say about what that price range is actually going to be.
A further step needs to be taken to assure that employees can maintain a reasonable standard of living and their purchasing power is not diminished while the cost of everyday goods and services rise. Mr. Speaker, the government supports the position paper's proposal to progress the statutory minimum hourly wage rate every 2 years by the annual average rate of inflation, utilizing the Consumer Price Index as the indicative measure, capped at 2.5% per year. Using this methodology, the newly proposed statutory minimum wage rate to take effect in 2025 will be between $16.81 and $17.23.
Still not a fan of minimum wage, but we've got to move on. Sorry.
No problem. And closing out with just on sports today, just a reminder that the Bermuda women's team will be playing against Peru this evening at 6 p.m. at the National Sports Center. Again, this is in the qualification rounds for the Field Hockey World Cup. Bermuda has lost 2 games so far, hoping to secure at least 1 win in this tournament for them or a draw. So if you're available, go out and see the team and support them as they play Peru this evening.
All righty. Get out there, folks. Get there. How's the weather looking?
Looking like some bright skies with a few showers as normal, but hopefully not as many showers as been recently. And we got a high of 83 degrees.
All right. Sounds like me at the AC one in the house if you invite me over. Larry, you got some days of the year for us?
Yes. Today in the U.S., we have National Punctuation Day.
Oh.
No, I have a question because this is a big thing. Do you still use proper punctuation while texting or through social media? So some people are like, no, and young people are like, if you do that, you're shouting at them. So I want to the audience, do you use proper punctuation when texting?
What you mean you're shouting at them?
I judge you if you use Ebonics and you're texting me. Like, nothing annoys me more. Like, especially when it's the same amount of letters. Like, you put KOOL instead of COOL. Like, I judge, I'm gonna be honest. But honestly, I do it for me. And the reason I use punctuation, I don't judge people on it. The reason I do it is because I send so many emails and texts for work that I just try to remain consistent, you know?
That's the reason why I got away with it. I used to do KK, like K or something like no. I'm doing everything as if because you could make mistakes. How about you, Maya?
You don't want to see my family's group chat. No, I definitely don't use proper grammar whenever I'm like on WhatsApp with my family, but on statuses and stuff, yeah, I would definitely, obviously, use proper grammar. And my favorite punctuation is actually the double hyphens. Probably, I love putting like words inside to emphasize the meaning inside whenever I use double hyphens. My favorite.
No, I once had a lady tell me, just like, I actually like the fact that you use proper punctuation and you spell words out. That's very attractive. And I said, so I was not attractive until you saw the way I wrote. Anyway, let's go to the audience. Rosalind Famous says, yes, I use punctuation in text. It keeps things clear. Suzanne Ingham says, I do my best to use proper punctuation, and I use all capitals to stress a point and make it clear. Yeah, I thought that was Shelton using all capitals. Anyway, real quickly, we have a joke today. We have a joke. It's been a while since I've had you two here together, and I know how much you love my jokes. All right, so let's do a joke of the day. Here we go. Let me just stretch real fast.
Don't break it.
That's the joke of the day right there, Maya.
See how you guys are? You guys should be stretching because you're being laughing so hard. Okay, here we go. Oh, well, which one should I ask? There's 3 here. All right, here we go. Hold on. Let me 2 seconds.
We got a guest waiting, Jamal.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. All right, here we go. What is an artist's favorite brand of shoes?
What is an artist's favorite brand of shoes?
Yeah. You ready?
Go ahead.
Props. Big shout out to my old man, because the only shoes he gets right now are Skechers. Skechers, like artists, they sketch, right?
That's real funny.
You didn't get that. We're going to take a quick break. Maya's going to laugh when the break, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Christine Lee's coming up after this.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paul's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store, for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. It's the funny man. Yes. Jamal Hart, that's me. Larry Marshall Jr. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Christine Lee from Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. Let's give her a warm TDH welcome. She's still laughing at my joke, aren't you? Go ahead. How are you?
It was a little bit funny, just a little bit. That's because I got it.
Whew, at least you got it, because Maya's still trying to figure it out. I'm gonna talk about it since she's not here. But thank you so much for joining us, Christine, and thanks for your patience backstage. But before we even get into the conversation, Larry had a days of the year, right? We gotta ask you. We gotta get in your business, personal business. Do you use proper punctuation when texting?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yes.
Do not send an email to Christine and have that miss that. Don't put that comma in there, Jamal. All right, I got you.
I'm not always grammatically correct, but I do use proper English and punctuations and all of the above because
All right.
I need to know what you're saying and how you're saying it.
I agree. That's it. And if you get something wrong, it could say something very different in the English language, at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, thanks again for joining us. And before we get into the conversation we're here to discuss today, just tell the audience a bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
I am Christine Lee, and I'm from Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. I'm the marketing and graphic designer there. So I am advertising all of the events that we have, trying to get it out there and get more participation and all of the above. That is me.
All right. And Bermuda Cancer and Health Center, some may be just tuning in for the first time. Just remind people of the role that organization plays in the community.
Bermuda Cancer and Health Center is a registered charity that engages in prevention, detection, and treatment, as well as support for cancer and other health conditions. We our mission is to provide the highest standard of all of this, which is detection, treatment, and support. Um, and one of our biggest things is our Equal Access Fund, which is again available for anyone who may be underinsured or uninsured to get medical treatment specifically to cancer.
All right.
So, Christine, speak to the upcoming breast cancer awareness, very popular event in Bermuda. When does it take place? Where does it take place? And what are you expecting from the event?
So this walk has been going on for quite a while, and it's one of those 28 years actually, and it's one of those events that is well known within the Bermuda community. It's happening on Wednesday, October 16th at Bars Bay Park. Starts at 5:30. So we're kicking off with a health fair, sorry. And you can just come, you can register there, or you can go to Race Day World. We are fundraising for a new state-of-the-art mammogram machine. So we're looking to fundraise $400,000. And this event here, this walk specifically helps with exactly that. Fundraising, sorry, for the new mammogram machine that we are looking to purchase for breast cancer awareness.
Real quickly, Larry, just want to ask the audience, because I don't think we understand the role, like seriously, that these events they put on play in our community. So I want to ask the audience, have you or someone close to you, have you been impacted by cancer? Just by a show of hands in the audience, yes or no, have you or anyone close to you been impacted by cancer? Go ahead, Larry, sorry.
Yeah.
Me too.
Another event that you guys have is gaining popularity is the Man on the Run 5K. And I must say, I'm sad. As a runner, I have not taken part in it yet. But I might see how I could.
Like,
I've coached people that have participated in it.
Mm.
But what's the specifics on this event?
Pardon?
What are the specifics on the Man on the Run 5K this year?
So this takes place on Sunday, November, am I 10th? Sorry, didn't want to say it wrong. And this is an all men's race. So this event is very specific to men. It's about men's health. It's about raising the awareness, the focus, the communications, on and around men's health. And a lot of times getting men together is the best way to do that. So this run definitely advocates to get together, come out Sunday. It is a Sunday, November 10th, to Work Academy at 8 o'clock in the morning, and come out, run, walk with your men, your sons, your nephews, your brothers, your husbands, boyfriends, whomever. We take them as early as 7. We have a 7 to 10-year-old race, as well as a juniors race, which is 10 through 15, I believe. And then everyone else, 16 through above, they compete in the adult race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is important. And the last few years, the message for that event has gone on in our group chats that I'm in. So note that the message is being sent. I don't know if the participation has been as high, but so and I'll do my part to try and
This event has actually gained popularity. So it gains more and more participation each year. It's not been around as long as our other events, but it has been around for quite a while. And my first year attending it was last year, and it was really, really nice to see the camaraderie around this race, but also the support around this race as well. So I definitely encourage everyone to go to racedayworld.com, register yourself, your boys, your groups, your teams. Come out and support this Man on the Run race.
Awesome. We can't forget Movember. What can we expect from that this year?
So Movember is a month-long initiative to raise funds and awareness about prostate and testicular cancer specifically. So Movember, we encourage men to come to Movember.pm, register a fundraiser. You can fundraise any way you like. You can just ask your friends or family members, I'm doing this. Can you donate towards it? So particularly, we ask that people don't shave, grow a beard or a mustache, don't groom, and use this as an opportunity to open up conversations around men's health. Oftentimes people don't ask, how are you? You have a passing conversation. Oh, something hurts, or I was having an issue with this, but there's no real follow up. So this is an opportunity to open those conversations up with the men in your life. Teaching boys how to have those conversations as they grow, so that they're not men having to have awkward conversations. They're able to actually have these conversations with ease. I think that's really important, is teaching boys how to have these conversations that are uncomfortable.
Indeed. And you've spoken about a lot of events just now, and we did ask the audience, has anyone either, been impacted directly or had someone close to them impacted by cancer? And, a lot of yeses here. Marquita Lee, Karen Simmons, Mayola John, Sophia Smith-Thurst, Suzanne Ingham, Charles H. Jefferson and Angela Salini all said yes. Which brings me to this. I mean, those were a lot of events, a lot of things that you have going on. How can the community get involved? Like, are you looking for volunteers? How can people go about volunteering to assist in this respect with all that you have going on?
Well, first and foremost, we are a charity. So we are always looking for volunteers, because volunteers is what makes everything run successfully. So we actually have a upcoming volunteer orientation where you can register, come by, see what we're all about at Bermuda Cancer and Health Center, but also you can register for any of the other events or even small tasks that we may have, and we need extra hands and assistance to do that. So our upcoming volunteer orientation, is November 21st, and it will be held at the Bermuda Cancer and Health Center.
All right. Audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them through. Obviously, this is a busy time for you. You guys probably have things going on throughout the year. For people to be able to stay up to date with everything that you have going on, What's the best method to retrieve information and stay connected with Bermuda Cancer and Health Center?
All of the information for all of our events, services, or just information on prevention, risk factors, and treatments, you can find at chc.bm.
That was very easy.
Yeah.
You also mentioned $400,000 hoping to raise from the walk, and you need a new mammogram machine. Well, just explain for those who don't know. I'm figuring, it's for breast exams, but what kind of equipment? What does a mammogram machine do, and what other kinds of equipment do you guys have to help people as far as prevention measures and also treatments?
Unfortunately, I am not part of the RT. I make things look pretty. So I don't have all of the information regarding treatments and how all of that happens. This is a 3D mammography machine, so it is an updated version of things. Technology is always evolving and changing and updating. So we have mammography machines that work beautifully, but this is just a newer version. Anyone with a chest or breast, male or female, should get screened and tested for breast cancer, because it affects literally anyone. So,
Alrighty. We do have a question from the audience. Charles A. Chefs II. He's just asking, what's the relationship between Bermuda Cancer and Health Center and PALS? Is there a relationship?
we are both cancer support charities. Bermuda Cancer and Health Center has more of a medical background than PALS, and that's really all I can say towards it, because I'm not exactly sure of the
No worries.
higher differences.
Yeah. All right. Just remind people, Christine, is it the website, your website?
Our website is chc.bm, and for the events, the breast cancer awareness walk, as well as the Man on the Run, you can register at racedayworld.com. And for Movember and hosting and registering for Movember, you can go to movember.bm, and that's MOVEMBER.bm.
November with a M.
Yes.
Instead of the end. All right. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank
Thanks for the
you.
information. And audience, let's get out there and support. We do have one last question, actually. Is there a minimum age for volunteers, Karen Simmons?
We try to ask that they be 16 and above, but we take anyone from middle school and above, really.
All righty. Let's get those volunteer numbers up, folks. TDH community, let's help the greater Bermudian community and assist our people, our friends, our family, and our community at Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. Christine, thank you so much. We will be in touch. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.
All right. Christine Lee, I love her energy, man. Love it. Hopefully it's not the last time, seriously. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. If you appreciated that conversation with Christine, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you go check them out, visit. Make sure that if you're able, just show some love, offering any kind of support that you can. Never been shy. I've been very close to someone dealing with cancer, having my mom. So if you know someone that you can support through these events that they're doing, please give your time if you're able. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about a minute, 25 seconds. We'll wrap it up. We've got a daily play, Bermuda Trivia Daily Play. So stick with us. In the meantime, show us some love, love, share, and yeah.
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
Take a look at our walkthrough for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All righty, welcome back. Thanks again to Christine Lee from Bermuda Cancer Health Center for stopping by. Again, if you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It is, well, thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Another new episode of Bermuda Trivia, the game show, is available now on bcgtv.com. See if the latest contestant got lucky. All right, here we go. Bermudian related question. It's a remember when. What is the name of the Bermudian actor who appeared alongside Jamie Foxx and Jennifer Hudson in Dreamgirls in late 2000s? I can't hear you.
Darren Herbert?
Oh, okay, cool. Yep, it was Darren Herbert. Yeah, it was Darren Herbert. You got it before David Michael Wilson. Got it before Karen Simmons. But yes, it was Darren Herbert. Charles, yep, you got it too. Yeah, Darren Herbert. What was that? 2007, 2008, I think.
Yeah, I had his brother's name in my head.
Right. He did have a brother. Yeah. Yeah. He's still doing his thing. He's still doing his thing, folks. Still doing his thing. All right, let's wrap it up, Larry. Final thoughts. This morning's discussion on grooming young people into gang-like culture, and then obviously all the events that Bermuda Cancer Health Center has going on.
Yeah, definitely an interesting conversation. Unfortunate conversation that we have to have, but nonetheless, we're there. I would reiterate, present parents and as the community, support those parents that you think may need help. They may not like it, but at the end of the day, nothing hurts reaching out. TB, I'm sorry, Bermuda.
Oh, man.
Yes. I'm serious. Bermuda. Yes. Such awesome events, and you don't think of the importance of the events until someone close to you is affected by it. And with my grandmother about 10 years ago, when she was going through her situation with cancer, that's when I had a great appreciation for these organizations. So having said that, I myself, and I'm inviting the man of the TDH group to get this man on the run done on November 10th. What do you say with that, Jamal?
Unfortunately, I will be in a continent far and far away from here, so I would not
be part of the helping to organize this initiative. Thank you, appreciate you. Put you on the spot in front of everybody.
Yeah, I if I was on the continent, I definitely would. But
Charles, come on! I know you walk. I'm calling you out. Let's go.
We can definitely figure something out. But no, I agree. This morning's discussion is very unfortunate that we have to have these conversations about young people being groomed. I think it's very concerning when adults could be approaching 8-year-olds. Let me be very clear in saying what I'm about to say. When I was young and people were around, whether it was selling drugs or smoking stuff or whatnot, they removed children from the situation in the area. They did not do, if they saw children, no, you can't be around here. What I'm sensing is things have changed. No, we want children around. We want them to learn about this early so that we can make our lives easier. It's a very sick time to live in. And I tell you, folks, protect your children, because some evil out there. As far as the events with Bermuda Cancer Health, I can't thank them enough for actually continuing to put on these events to educate people, to meet people where they are. My hope is that they do continue to. The reason I ask for about year-round stuff, because this is a busy time, is because again, people like myself, yes, I am traveling during that time, but there may be other things throughout the year that I can support personally and be a part of. So I'd encourage people to look at their website, follow their social media channels to see if there's something that you can offer your time, assistance, whatever you have to offer. If you're able, you can offer to help those who are in need. All right, Larry, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
Yes. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. And that's Leslie Medley Russell, a ovarian cancer survivor.
Oh, what you did there. 10% what happens to us, 90% how we respond. Love that one. Love that one. All right, folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.